verdict in the Harvey Weinstein rape trial.
Harvey Weinstein found guilty of rape and criminal sexual assault.
WHO has been assessing this outbreak around the clock, and we're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
I accept this nomination for President of the United States of America.
This is the most important election in the history of our country.
I think I've grown a lot in the last few months.
It was kind of like Groundhog Day, waking up and doing the same thing every day, not being able to go out.
I had a lot planned, I had a lot of goals, and I had a lot of hope, but that's gone now.
I felt like it was just kind of like treading water, basically.
We as a country for the past 20 years have seen ourselves as this untouchable country. And I think when coronavirus hit us, it's just a culture shock, really, more than anything.
I just felt like I was trapped at home. The best years of my life were being wasted.
I'm not wearing a mask for myself. I'm wearing a mask for somebody who may be immunocompromised.
I've seen our country become more divided than I think it's ever been.
It really opens our eyes to, how bad life can be and how well we can adapt to it.
I'm not freaked out about coronavirus just because I'm young and healthy and I feel invincible, which is probably dangerous, but that's the truth.
I think we saw in the news a lot of political tensions the last few months, and I found it important to understand people on both sides have their opinions because of certain experiences in their own lives and what they've witnessed, whether we agree with them or not.
It's all pure emotions, and I understand why people were coming out looting and stuff, because they had no place, they had nowhere to place their anger.
As for me, as a straight white male, I need to acknowledge my privilege and speak up for the voiceless.
Honestly, just love seeing people get together for a good cause and just trying to make the world a better place. And just got to keep it going. It doesn't end when 2020 ends. Just got to keep going.
So far, COVID-19 has really impacted, in terms of mobilization of political activism, and Black Lives Matter and everything that's occurred this summer. I've just seen so many people that previously were not super invested in politics realize how important it is and how dangerous it can be when nobody cares.
Yeah, it's disheartening because at this point the political climate is who's worse? Who's gonna do the most damage to the country? But at this point it's politicians aren't even coming up with solutions to issues, they're just spewing things that they think their constituents want to hear.
I think it's our generation that's going to be the one to create the future that we want, and I think this activism that we're seeing play out throughout the world at the moment is, I think it's mostly a positive thing.
I think kind of sitting back and having to reflect on our lives and the people in our lives and finding out, people we know, they're in danger and they're scared, and I think it's going to make us a more empathetic generation, but also a stronger one as well. Kind of knowing, being more aware of social change and more aware of the political climate and willing to compromise or be compassionate or things like that.
Personally, I think I've realized that life needs to be slow and methodical. You need to realize everything that's going on and just kind of take a second and like kind of smell the roses, you know?
Being a 20-year-old at this time, I feel that this is really the major like historical event I've lived through, because obviously a lot of other things have happened, but just nothing to this scale. And so that's like really surreal, and it's kind of like stepping back, it's really crazy to think like what we're doing will be in history books one day.
It's a turning point. Either we can stay with the old paradigm or we can move on to a new one.
I think this is a year of reflection. Obviously, we've learned that this year things can get a lot more chaotic than we're accustomed to. So I think we need to, in future years down the line, be prepared for anything that may happen.
I definitely think that like any opportunity from here on out, I think you have to like think in your mind that this could be the only one and that the future is uncertain, so you should take advantage of opportunities that you want to.
Honestly, just count your blessings. Even though it has been kind of a tough time, it could be a lot worse.
I hope to remember how I felt when I was in quarantine. I continuously feel like I was missing out. And so I hope I always remember to kind of live in the moment and live with my friends and have a good time and try not to waste my life the way I feel like it maybe was in the past.
I mean, obviously there's a lot of negative outcomes of this, but there's definitely some shining lights through it that we have to find.
From this point onward, we as people are going to really stop taking for granted the moments that we maybe did in the past. The takeaway from 2020 should be that you need to relish in life every second that you're given,